Welcome back, guys. Revan here, bringing you MC Eternal, episode 9. We are trucking along. Last episode, we completed our gas-burning farm, a little bit of OP potato production, and today, we're going to be moving into energy storage. With that, we're going to be using Mekanism, so sit back, enjoy the episode, and let's see what we can't get done. Okay, well, between the last episode and right now, we have updated a few things around the base. First off is we lowered our floor down here. Let me just take my hover mode off here. We've lowered the floor so that we can have a little bit more room for our AE system. Specifically, we made a couple decent sized crafting stations and then just two smaller ones over here. I haven't extended our molecular assemblers just yet, but that's just because of the fact that I don't really have that many patterns. But as we work through and get more, I will need to bring these guys down as well. Additionally to that, if I can find my way back up here, we did mess around a little bit more with our mechanism over here. We have it set up right now so that certain things are being auto-crafted. For instance, we have 64 pulverized obsidian on hand all the time, as well as some of our compressed obsidian, our compressed redstone, and our compressed diamond, which are feeding our infusing factories over here. And then everything else is automated, so I could just order a few things up. If I come into my AE system over here, go to Mechanism and Craftable. Craftable, there we go. So we can, I have patterns for all of these so we can auto craft them. Certain things are going to work and certain things are not. That's kind of the downfall of Mechanism. For whatever reason, the energy cubes, they don't like registering. So I can make the advanced energy cube, which is essentially tier 2, because the system itself will recognize the basic energy cube and put that into the advanced, but it won't do it for the elite or the ultimate. It just fails to see them anymore. So a lot of this is crafting that we're going to have to do manually. But what I'm looking to get into are the induction coils and the induction providers, and make a storage system for all the power that we're generating. Also, if we pop into our little potato farm over here, we have added, okay, now I turn my hover mode back on. We have added 3 more of the gas burning generators. We've also added power and energy upgrades to our PRC, as well as our electrolytic separator over here. I haven't really added any upgrades to the crushing factory, mainly because I haven't needed to yet. We haven't gotten to the point where we are not producing enough biofuel. As you can see, we have 2,000 stacks of potatoes and almost 5,000 stacks of biofuel. So these two things down here, the plant interactor and the crushing factory, are working just fine on their own. And so far, I have not run into any issues with the sink. The sink seems to be keeping up just fine with the electrolytic separator. Now, later on when we get into, I forget what they're called. I think it's the HDPE pellets. Yes. The HDPE pellets, which is used for the plastic sheets, which are a few of the other mechanism crafts that we're going to need a little bit later on, require these. So, in order to make these, we need oxygen and ethanol. So when we start taking some of our ethanol from here to make those sheets, we might possibly start getting into our potatoes, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. So let's go and set an entry point. Let's get started on our power. So I think I'm going to keep this wall right here in case I want to make more compact machines. This will be my little wall of mini dimension rooms. And this wall over here, I'm thinking that this is where we put the power supply. Now, as a side note, if you remember, I used to have my inscribers down here along with my crystal growth chamber, and what I was noticing is if the server would reboot, or if I would log off, or if I would just be AFK for too long, and something would happen, all of the inscribers plus the crystal growth chamber down here would break. I couldn't really find a good reason for it. The best thing that I could come up with, after searching the forums and whatnot, is that if you have a certain amount of AE machines in the same chunk along with a security terminal, the inscribers will break. I didn't really find any fixes to that or anything. The only thing I really managed to get working was I put the inscribers over in this corner and the crystal growth chamber over here. And then I just have some messy cable in our plant room down below to kind of make those things work. But so far, these have not broken on me. I'm going to keep tabs on it, and I'll let you guys know if anything comes up with that. Okay, so first things that we need to get into in order for power storage. Let's just go into Mekanism, and we're going to need some casings. I believe it's just the induction casings. So we're going to need a decent amount of energy tablets and the casings themselves. So I believe we have the energy tablets on standby. We have 40 of them. So let's see how many we can get here. Can I get a stack? I can. All right, let's see what size this needs, because realistically, we don't need it to be too big. If we start looking at the storage, based upon the different tiers, the cells are what's actually going to be inside the casings, and they're going to be the items responsible for storage. So the basic one holds 400 million RF. And you figure if you make a decent enough size machine, you'll probably be able to get at least three of them in there, maybe two, if you just do it one deep, because you are going to need a cell and you're going to need a provider. The provider is going to pump out through the port, and the cell, well, obviously it's going to do that. So if you want one port for energy going in and one port for energy going out, you're going to need two providers, and then the induction cells for storage based upon whatever the size you want and your capabilities at the time. But normally, if you get into Mekanism and you get to the point where you need a lot of energy storage, you should have the resources available to at least get up to, like, I would say the elite tier fairly easily. So we're obviously going to skip the basic. My goal here is the ultimate induction cell. I don't know if we're going to have the resources for it, but we're going to find out. But even if we get up to the elite induction cell, we're looking at 25 billion RF. So that's what the G is standing for in this case, is billion. So if we have two of those in there, we're looking at 50 billion RF stored up, just for any given time. And I think right now on a good day, we're making close to 20,000 RF per tick. So it's going to take a minute for this thing to fully charge up. And then once it does, we'll have power for days. But if we get up to the ultimate, we're looking at 204 billion RF a tick. That is a lot of energy stored. Okay. So the induction providers, so this is how much input and output we can get, how much throughput of energy we can have. The basic one is going to do 25,000. The advanced is going to do 204,000. That's usually what I stick around, mainly because of the fact that I believe, don't quote me on this, but the flux network plugs are, even though they say that you're taking the limit off, I think they're still limited on about 250,000 RF per tick. So normally you can make do with the advanced or the elite. The elite, obviously 1.6 million, much more than the 250,000. But also this pack doesn't really have a whole lot that's going to produce you that much RF per tick anyway. So you don't need to go all out with the ultimate induction provider. But in order to get there, We have the casings. Now, the basic induction provider, if we actually, let me just pull this up to show you why we can't actually craft this automatically. So if we were to go for the induction cell, it requires an elite energy cube. And again, that's not something that we can accomplish because the system will not automatically register that. So we're going to have to hand jam these into the crafting to see what we can't get done. So let me craft a few of these up, see how far we can get into it, and I'll bring you guys back with what we are able to craft. Welcome back. So, got some good news, got some bad news. So first off, good news is we were able to craft up an ultimate induction cell. The induction providers, we had to stop at the elites, but like I said, that's probably the most I'm actually going to need. So the only thing that we really need to craft up now are a couple of the ports. So I'm just gonna, what am I missing here? Oh, induction casings, 3, 4. We'll just toss you in there, and that should give us our 2 cells. I'm not 100% sure 60 is going to be enough, but we should have the materials if we need to make more, and they're not difficult to make. So the bad news was, iron. I used to have about 30-some thousand iron. I'm down to about 10,000. Gold is about the same thing. So I used up most of my supply of iron, gold, and how much lithium do I have left? Yeah. This was about 40-some thousand lithium. So I have used pretty much all of my, out of my ores and supplies, that I've been collecting over the last, I don't know how long I've been playing this, maybe about a month, just to make this storage device. So I'm really hoping that we don't have to do this too often. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go on some very long, very long mining expeditions. Okay, so where do we want this here? I am thinking, all right, so this is obviously where we had our reactor. And it needs to be, the inside needs to be 3 wide. So we can just go like this over here. And then we're going to have, or at least for now, we're just going to put the base there. Build up the back because I want to be able to access the input and the output from the front. And just to be safe, I know I have torches in this room, but let's just toss a torch up there. And do the good old F7 just to see if we have any X marks a spot dark zones in there, which we do not. All right, we'll take off hover mode and go back to building. So build. Now, as for our ports, we're going to put 1 on each side, and we're going to put our cell in the middle. Now, as this gets bigger, I can just drop the floor by 1, and then I can put more. I don't actually need to add more induction ports, but I can add more of the cells if I want. And you can mix and match as you wish. You don't need just ultimates in here. I have 1 ultimate. If I wanted to, I could add the basics in there and work my way up like that. So we are going to put you right there, and the little redstone poof that you just saw means that it's complete. So if I look inside, I have 0 RF stored. So let's grab a flux plug, which we're going to have to make. Do we actually have what we need? Of course we never have what we need. And we'll just grab, let you lose a little bit. Okay, now we got it. Flux plug. And we are going to take everything and we are going to put this on, let's rename this network here. Where are we? Network statistics, network settings, and storage. We're going to apply that. We're going to go back home. So now if we look inside here, we still have nothing, but that's because we have nothing going to it. So if I come back over here to my main energy producers and I switch you over to storage, we'll toss a point on there, then we will attach it to storage, home, and let's see. So we're getting about 5,000 RF per tick from our nuclear craft generator, which is correct. Now let's change this one over to storage as well. Make sure that we disable the limit. Not that we should need to, but we'll do it anyways. And now we're getting about 36,000 RF per tick in here. Now, if we wanted to, we could come up front to what's left of our coal generators over here, and we could switch this one over to storage as well. And what are you set on? You're set on storage, even though you shouldn't be getting anything. All right. So let's see what we're sitting at down here. So with that, yeah, we're getting a roughly 52,000 RF per tick. So right about 50,000 RF per tick. I'd say that's pretty good for us just getting into power. Hey. Oh, where you going, Mr. Ghost Man? Come back here. I got a present for you. It's called your early demise. All right. I swear, I do not get distracted very easily. I do. A lot. Sorry. Anyways, we're going to switch this guy over here. Disable the limit. Chunk load it just in case. So now we have an input and an output. And we are going to be outputting you to the regular network that everything else is on over here. So we should still be getting power. So now everything will be getting power directly from our induction, our mechanism. I believe it's called the Induction Matrix. So let's tidy up our house over here a little bit. And oh, as a side note, I once again tossed my dank knoll into a garbage can, so I had to craft another one and start over. That was a lot of fun. And by a lot of fun, I mean I was very much so annoyed. Also, if you notice, I put a couple of the cave illuminators up top, and I'm starting to regret it. If you put these in your base, especially if you have a larger basement like this one down here, I would highly recommend putting them under your floor, because they will go from wherever they are located. In this case, it's like right up there and down within a certain radius. So since my basement is technically below it, it is lighting up all of the air spaces where the torches are not. So even though, you know, the ground is light and nothing is going to spawn up here, it's still counting it as dark space and bringing it down. So I may end up removing that up there and then just stamping these lights out. Now, if you have these and you want to get rid of them, the easiest way to do it is to just put a block over them, and that will erase that little bit of light. So what I say we do right now is let's head back over to our... Oh, that is not my personal shrinking device. Let's head back over to our potato farm right here. And what I want to check for in here is, are we keeping up with ethylene now that we are pumping out more energy than what we were making? Because previously these things were staying completely full, just solely based on the fact that no matter what they did, there wasn't enough energy getting out because we didn't have the storage, so it was no place for it to go. It got backed up. These essentially just were not running. So right now this is making 15,000 RF. That's making another 15, another 15, 15. So we're making about 60,000 RF in here. However, this is probably using about 300 RF per tick. That's using 100 RF per tick. This one is using currently only 20 because it's not running, but it should be more around like 1,000 or something like that. This one's using 8,000 RF per tick. So even though we're making 60, we're probably using some around 15,000. So it's about 45,000 RF per tick that we're utilizing in this space to produce an outbound 45,000. So I think we're pretty good with that. As long as we keep a track of these and we are not running out of ethylene, we should be good. We might actually even be able to add 1 to 2 more of these gas burning generators if we were need to be, and that would pump out, you know, probably close to an additional, given the added ask on these machines, probably an additional 25,000 in RF per tick. So all in all, I say we are doing pretty good. Now we do have a few more of the Mekanism quests that we should be able to knock out fairly easy here. So I say we take the rest of this episode to see what we can't get done out of our remaining quests here. So let's head back into our main base. All right, so if we come back into our quests, we've already made a digital miner, but we didn't, while crafting it, we didn't actually take the items out of the ME terminal or back out of the ME terminal, so it didn't complete the quest. I know I've brought that up before, and it is a little bit annoying, but what do we have? So we need some refined obsidian ingots, which I believe is just osmium and refined obsidian. So Mekanism, we have obsidian dust. Let's grab let's just grab 16, have that going. No crafting CPUs are available at this time. Why not? So I see our problem. We somehow lost our flex point down here. Let me get that straightened out and I will be right back. So that was an easy enough fix. The one thing that I forgot to do is when you first set these up, the ports are just going to automatically fall back to input. So both of these ports were trying to input energy, even though we had a plug on this one. So we just had to take our configurator, shift click on it, and as you can see, it's got red on the outside. So that is now indicating that it's outputting energy. So if we look, yep, we are outputting about 16,000 RF per tick. So now when we come back up here and we go to crafting, 10, 16, we should have that all set. Now, osmium ingots, we're also going to need a few of those. So let's grab these guys up. And then once these are done, which should not take very long. Where are you? Osmium ingots. We're at 16. Okay. So now we can come back down to our osmium compressor. Which one is it? There it is. And we just toss those in there and we should be able to get our 2 refined ingots. Now, one thing I will note, it does not seem to be a 1-for-1 ratio. The osmium ingots versus the refined obsidian, it seems to be like 1.2 ingots per obsidian dust. I'm not really sure exactly why that is, but it is. I'm not really sure what else to say on there. Steel. So let's make up a couple stacks of steel real quick. And again, my resources are running low because of all of the good stuff that we just did. All right, we're gonna need some basic control circuits. Basic, and we'll just craft up 16 of you as well. Start you up. It is definitely nice having more than one crafting CPU right now. What were you needing again? Basic. Okay. So now we have the personal chest. I'm going to keep one in the inventory because I'm not sure if this is another one of the items that doesn't quite register. Yep. See, we just crafted one. We have one in the system. If we come over here, we have 2 of them in the system. But when it comes to pulling into a crafting recipe, it's not actually registering it. I know this is a problem that's been around for a while. I just don't know why. All right, now let's grab us another digital miner, mainly because we have one that's pretty much always running that we're moving around in the beneath to collect osmium, because that is fairly precious, especially when it comes to making the storage unit. But since we're a little bit low on supplies, it's going to be relatively important for us to have one in the overworld as well. Do we have... Of course, we don't have a piston. Not much of an issue. Make a quick... Ooh, what are we missing for the steel casing? Osmium ingots. Huh. Alright. Let's just order a few of these guys up. Mechanism, and we'll just craft up 64 of you. And there we go. Steel casing. Now back to the digital miner. We will need some of these teleportation cores. Yep. And these side aspects don't register either. The logistics sorters. I don't actually know what these are for. I haven't really used them for anything other than making the digital miner. So I'm sure they have a use. They're probably like some sort of filter for universal logistic cables, but we will toss this in our storage for use later. I will set that up off stream because I'm going to have to set up more storage up front. I'm getting messy with my drawers up here. If we come look, I'm just adding more drawers, and as things are coming into this ender chest right here, which is running off of the digital miner in the beneath, if it's not going directly into the system, I'm tossing it up into here, mainly because if we set these up outside, it's very it's almost a necessity to have its own drawer, because I don't want to use up all my disk drive space over here. So what else can we knock out here? Precision sawmill. We should be able to get that done relatively easily. Advanced solar panels. We'll add you onto the list. And flamethrower. That sounds fun. If I remember correctly, these are the flamethrower is pretty cool. It doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot though. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, so let's see where we can get with this. What is this? The seismic vibrator. This what is it? We got Shift M. Let's see. Machine that uses seismic vibrations to provide information on differing layers of the world. So I'm guessing that just tells you stuff and things. Good to know. That's about as much sense as that made to me. All right, basic tank. We'll keep that because I don't know if it'll populate. Flint and steel we're probably going to have to make, and I don't know if we have any bronze, but we're about to find out. We do. So we now have a flamethrower that requires some sort of gas. I don't know if it's going to be oxygen or ethylene or something else. What are the chances we can actually make a solar panel? And 1. So these won't stack. 2, 3, and 4. Last but not least, the solar panel. Now, what does this give us? It gives us 80, really? Oh, stored energy, 80,000. I was like, does this actually make 80,000 RF per tick? That would be bonkers. All right. Let's actually set you up and see what you do. And we will toss you right there. And I guess just that instantly filled up. All right. So we are producing 106 RF per tick off of this. So unless I filled my entire roof up with these things, I'm really not going to be producing anything. And since I don't care about it, it can stay there. All right, so where does that leave us? We can take off the solar panel. We can take off the robots, and let's work on the precision sawmill, which we're going to need another casing for. And I think we should have everything else. We do. Awesome. So that's going to leave us the bow, the scuba tank, the pump. So let's just add the bow, the scuba tank. What else did it want? The gas mask. And let's see, we got a jetpack, the electric pump, which I'm not really sure what it's used for. I'm assuming getting water or other liquids. All right, so let's start from there. We've done the sawmill. Let's do the bow. We have the electric bow, scuba tank. Yep, we're gonna need the gas tank, the gas mask. These will be interesting to try out. Again, another basic gas tank. We get our jetpack, our electric pump. Oh, we're missing a casing. And we're just flying through these quests over here. And free runners, which I don't know what they are. I'm guessing they're shoes that make you go faster. So I'll play with those things later. I have no use for them right now. The jetpack, we already have a good jetpack. The scuba tank I'm actually interested in. I'm assuming we have to load that up with oxygen. We can toss all of you guys in here. The electric bow might be good, might not be good. I'm not really sure. And just clear off our inventory here. Toss our jetpack back on. And what are we left with? So we've completed most of these quests. The white glow panel I cannot do yet. I have not made the HDPE pellets or the HDPE sheets. So I can't actually do those. The security desk. Oh yeah, we should be able to do the security desk and the teleporter frames. Ooh, that one's going to take some time, so we're going to have to save that one for later. That's a lot of refined obsidian. What about the atomic disassembler? Yeah, we should be able to knock that one out. Right? Please? Yes. I think I'm thinking this is like a pickaxe. And yes, we will need one of your teleportation discs, another casing. And we're going to need a control panel. So we're missing 2 of the reinforced alloys. We'll craft up 16 of you. Reinforced. Not what, please don't stop. Thank you. And now we can get our security desk. And we can take all of you guys off of our to-do list. So, other than the cardboard box, the white glow panel, and the teleportation frames. Do I have any cardboard boxes saved? I do. You can actually make these before you get into Mekanism, so it was relatively... That was the easy one to do. I'm curious to see what this thing does. First, let's sleep before we go outside, and then let's go check this out. Wow, you run fast. Got pretty good damage to it. I don't think it's for damage, though. So it does 1 heart of damage. Stored. Mode normal. Okay. So it breaks dirt very easily. What about cobblestone? Oh, weird. Target mode toggle to slow, to fast, to vein, extended veining, off, normal. So it mines very quickly. So this is actually a decent pickaxe. I mean, I do have my Supremium pickaxe, But now that we have a good amount of power and everything like that, that's not too bad of a pickaxe. We might actually have to look into using that. Boom, 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 boom. However, I think we're going to call it an episode there. So I'm pretty happy with what we've accomplished today. If I can come down here, we did manage to get our induction matrix built. We have a decent amount of power that we have enough storage that we don't really have to worry about making anything more for, I would say, at least a couple days. And in that point in time, with the new digital miner that I have, I can recollect a lot of the resources that I've spent today, and you know, we'll have room for growth. So again, I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Maybe you learned something. As a reminder, I do stream over on Twitch on most Fridays and Saturdays. I will make the disclaimer that with all of the fun stuff that's going on in the world right now, my schedule has freed up a little bit, so I am occasionally streaming during the work week. If you want to check me out, link is in the description below. And as always, if you like the video, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, share. Helps me out a lot. So thank you guys. I appreciate you watching. Stay awesome, and I'll see you next time.